Well,
And we're live for the 2015 Fountain Hill Stickball League Draft. I am your host and commissioner, Ryan Anderson. With us today, two Fountain Hill Stickball League analysts. First, Nick Johnson, two-time league MVP.
how you guys doing? It's great to be here. This is a very historic event. I'm happy you guys are with us.
And two-time Labuda Cup winning champion captain, Zach Lagola.
Hey, it's a great night. Stickball fans, enjoy.
All right, I just want to thank everybody out there who's watching us live via our YouTube channel. And we're about 4 minutes away from the #1 pick, which, by the way, we have some breaking news, folks. A trade has gone down. And let me repeat this. Breaking news. Just minutes ago, a trade has gone down. The Toon Squad has traded up. They've acquired the #1, and they have also acquired the number 10 pick from the Monarchs. The Monarchs now have the 3, 4, 6, and 7. The Monarchs got the 3 and 6. Toon Squad got the 1st and 10. That's a 2-pick for 2-pick deal. And this means, guys, that the Toon Squad now has the #1 pick. And I think we all know where Josh Knight, the new captain of the Toon Squad, is going with this one. What do you guys think?
Well, look, all you guys watching, everybody at home, whatever. I don't think I have to say who the Toon Squad is going to take here. Zach, why don't you help me out?
He might not say it. I'm going to say this pick reeks of Justin Knight. He's going to come in, play left field. He's a lefty bat, what Josh loves, and this is a match made in heaven, quite honestly.
I mean, look, guys, we've all seen him play in the Classic. He's got the genes of Knight. He's a good athlete. He can play first. I think he can play left. I think he can do a lot of things, and it's not a surprise here that Josh went up and got a trade here. So, yeah. I mean, hey, we're all excited to see this.
I mean, the important thing is I think we all think that Josh Knight is going to take his brother here. What if he throws a curveball and takes somebody else? Who knows? That pick, we're minutes away from that. But the main thing here is that the Monarchs now have the 3, 4, and the 6 and 7. That's 4 picks in the first seven. I mean, that's a big move for Andrew Krause. So, quite a ballsy one, if I might say so myself.
Well, let's look at it like this. If Toon Squad does get Justin Knight, I mean, their 4 players that they would have right now are dominant. I mean, their team is dominant. They're looking at a 3-peat right now with Knight, Kirk, Speck, and Knight. This is a scary team right now. So if they do that, what do you think Krause is thinking? I mean, let's look at it like that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of which, we got 2 new captains in the league, Brian Redding and Josh Knight. I mean, who do you guys think out of all 3 of them, Josh Knight, Brian Redding, and Andrew Krause, who do you think is going to come away tonight with the best draft?
Well, this is a tough one, but in any situation like this, I got to go with experience. And Krause does have that 1 year of experience under his belt. Now, yeah, last year the Monarchs were, let's face it, they were a complete flop. Nobody was showing up to games. They didn't really have the talent. But I think this year, Krause is on a mission to get to the championship and to take home that Labuda Cup.
Wow, that would be amazing. What do you think, Zach?
I disagree with a little bit of what Nick just said. I like the experience factor with Krause. I actually think he had a great draft last year. If you look at that team on paper, it was stacked. Now, they didn't pan out in the season, so that's something he's got to think about.
Yeah.
However, I think Josh Knight, this pick says it all. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to go out, target the guys he wants, and he's going to have the best draft.
That might be a little biased considering he's the former captain of the Toon Squad.
Of course it is. Hey,
I'm just saying, we're about a minute and a half from that #1 pick coming in. But one thing I'd like to do before that, I'd like to send out a special thank you to Tim Saruk and all the players of the Sultan Squad over the past 3 years. It's a shame we only have a 3-team league this year as opposed to 4, and the Sultan Squad was the team that had to be cut out. But I think, and I genuinely hope that we see the Sultan Swap back again next year as better than ever. So, I mean, I know you guys can agree with that. And it looks like we have the pick. The pick has come in, folks. And it is who we all expected. With the #1 pick, it's Justin Knight to the Toon Squad. What do you guys, we all knew it was coming.
Like I said, like Zach said, it was pretty obvious. Josh Knight went up, got his brother. Could you guys really see him playing for the Monarchs with the Kikums? I just couldn't see it. So that's why I personally felt that Justin was going to go to Josh to the Toon Squad.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't think if Krause kept that pick, I did not think he was going to take Justin Knight. I thought Justin Knight was going to end up with Josh this whole time. Josh made that certain –
He made the pick.
Yeah, he made the trade. He made the pick, and
it took a lot of guts on his part.
And let's put it this way: it wasn't really a bold move. The kid's got talent. We've all seen him play.
Right.
He's not going to go up and get a Pat Hilaire there. It's a good move. especially for their team. He has the chemistry going.
And he's probably going to take Zach's spot in left. Now, moving on, we're every pick will come every 2 minutes here. So the next pick, the Cucumbas have the pick, and I'm going to break some news here that the Cucumbas have decided to change their name to the Tomahawks. So we'll have a logo and color scheme coming to you soon.
Wow.
But if we mess up a little here and call them the Cucumbas, we're going to try our best to call them the Tomahawks. But it's something new for us. We just heard about it today. Brian Reddy made that decision.
Okay.
We're less than a half a minute away from that pick coming in. Who do you guys think they're going to take here?
Well, right now, according to Craig's big board, we got Knipe off the board. Right now, Sean Frankenfield will be next in line. But I see the Cucumbas, let me say the Tomahawks, going with Peyton Bates here. Now, they don't have a Martin guarding short, so I think they're going to get Peyton Bates. He's a vacuum over there on the left side of the infield. He can block the balls, he can make the throws, and he's got a good stick. He can slap the ball when he needs to. So why not go with Peyton Bates? He's got the genes of his brother Taylor. I mean, I think that would be a great move for my team.
And they've sorry to cut you off. The pick has come in, and they have selected Peyton Bates. Wow, what a pick. Zach, can I get some commentary? What do you think of that selection?
Hey, it's hard to argue with the pick of Peyton Bates. He can play anywhere in the field. He can hit for average. I like the thought of Nick Johnson with Kyle Lachlan in the middle of the batting order.
Okay.
So, I would have taken Kyle Lachlan.
Well, I think the issue there is we've seen Kyle Lachlan not show up to games. Now, I know I heard he has a new 9-to-5 regimen or whatever, but sometimes I just do not buy that. Yeah. So I really do like the move of my captain of the Tomahawks. Going with Peyton Bates, we know he's reliable.
Now, the Monarchs now have the next 2 picks. They got to get offense. They got to get defense. They got to get everything. This is huge for them. And let me see here. I'm checking the picks here. I don't have a pick yet from the Monarchs. So we got a late pick. I don't know what's going on up there. Andrew Krause is drafting, and Andrew Redding is his assistant. So this pick has got to come in within a minute here.
Well, look, let's look at the Monarchs.
Who do you guys see him picking?
Well, let's look at the Monarchs in general. I mean, right now, I think they would have to go with Kyle Lachlan. They have no offense right now. They got Justin Pekevich, and they have Andrew Redding. Now, look, Pekevich is a heck of a player, but he's no Kyle Lachlan. He can't stroke home runs with ease. So you got to go with somebody that can hit. And that's why I personally would see Kyle Lachlan. He's number 4 on the big board. He can lock down third, and he can hit. As I did say, he doesn't show up sometimes, but sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt. So why not go with Lachlan?
All right, well, we're still waiting for the Monarchs pick to come in. I mean, I don't know what's going on here, but they got to get this pick in pretty quick. I think it's coming in shortly. But
I think it's about 5 seconds away from coming in, hopefully. I mean, I think
they got to get Lachlan here.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the pick has come in. Kyle Lachlan has been selected to the Monarchs, the much-needed power that they were looking for. You guys saw it coming. Now they got third base locked down.
Third base and power.
Yeah, well, listen to this little stat here I conjured up. He's a 2-time All-League player, a 2-time Silver Slugger, and a 2-time Gold Glover. 2013, he was 4th in the league with 6 home runs. He was 4th in the league in RBIs, and he had a .432 average. He's no joke, folks. He proves it with stats. As I said, and as everybody knows, his biggest flaw is attendance. Will he show up to help this team?
That's a big question. He's told me personally he's working a 9 to 5.
He also won a championship with me, so I love this pick. He's going to show up. I have faith in him, and he's going to be a big pick for the Monarchs.
And they have the number 4 pick coming up next. I mean, you got to think they might get a sidekick to him over there at shortstop. Maybe Mike Daly. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Right now, yes, they do need a shortstop. So they have left, and they have center, and they have third locked up. I'm thinking they're going to go with the shortstop. But, a little surprise here, I'm going to go with Mike Zumas. I think Krause and Zumas have a little connection. I think Krause will play first for them.
Zach, what do you think?
This is tough. This is a hard pick to judge. He can go any sorts of ways. He could go Darren Seaman. He can go Rocco DiPaolo if he likes the younger guys with some power. However, I do agree. I think he's going Mike Zumas. He's going to play first base for him, and then they just need a shortstop later in the draft.
See, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be foolish for him not to pick up a shortstop. And there's a pick coming in. I have not received it yet here, but a pick has got to be coming in shortly. And Frankenfield has been selected.
Wow.
Sean Frankenfield, the lefty from Fountain Hill, has been taken by the Monarchs. So they got Lachlan and Frankenfield back. What do you think, Zach?
Too early for him, in my opinion.
Really?
2013, Frankenfield only batted .377. As a lefty with 10 walks, you got to add that in. The 10 walks he's getting on base. He's not driving in runs, though, with those walks.
Well, let's look at it this way. Misleading stat there. Sean Frankenfield, a former teammate of mine, he's a utility guy. You can plug him in anywhere. Yes, I agree. He does not have that flair at the plate, but he's a guy who comes in clutch. 2014, he improved from a 353 average to 476 average. He was third in the lead in walks. And yeah, people will say, well, those walks don't mean much. Well, heck, he's getting to first the majority of the time. Okay, so he can field and he can hit. And I mean, yeah, Krause doesn't really have that flair at the plate, but I think it's a good pick.
Where's he playing in this field?
Well,
Where do you see him playing?
Well, I think you can put him at first. Like I said, you can put him at short, or you can put him at left. As a Kakuma teammate, we've thrown him all over the place.
I like the pick.
I love the pick.
I mean, it's solid. He's going to be there. It's a lefty in the lineup. We all know how important that is.
It is important.
Whether you're at the park or at Holy Child or at the Holy Child School, we all know how important that is.
Yeah.
Now with the next pick, who we got coming up here? The Kakumbas have the next pick. So they already got Peyton Bates first round. Who do you guys think here? They still need I think they still need a left-sided infielder.
Well, look, I think Redding, he's always had a connection with Mike Daly. They're classic teammates. They could use a shortstop, right? So I think Peyton Bates for them is going to end up playing third, and I think Mike Daly will end up playing short. I mean, Mike, yeah, he doesn't have the greatest swing in the world. I mean, 2012 when he played in the league, he had 333, nothing too impressive. But he's a guy at short that can really lock down that position. And if they end up having Mike, and if they end up having Peyton, I mean, that's a pretty good left side of the infield right there.
And Rocco DiPaolo has been selected to the Kakumbas with the 5th overall pick.
Wow. Interesting. Well, let's look at a guy like
They'll put him at first base. They'll probably put him at first base.
Well, let's look at a guy like Rocco. I mean, last year he was drafted #1, one of the few players to ever have that. I mean, he's a great player. He really is. He can hit for power. But last year he did fall into a bit of a slump. I mean, he only hit 300. He did have 1 home run, only 5 RBIs. But we know this kid has talent.
Yeah, he was the #1 pick last year.
Yeah. Did he live up to that #1 pick last year?
Yeah, but sometimes it takes a little time. I think he's got that athletic
He's got all the tools. Absolutely.
I know Rocco's probably watching right now, thinking, I'm gonna make up for last year with this year. He's might have a breakout year.
Hey, Rocco, I hope to see it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes it takes time, and other times it doesn't. But I mean, I think Brian kind of took a risk here, but I think Rocco has all the potential in the world to hit 12 home runs in one season. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good player. So,
and it is the Tomahawks. I apologize. Like I told you, I'm just on the fly getting used to calling them the Kakumbas. So I apologize again. It is the Tomahawks. So now look at their lineup. They got a pretty good lineup with Richie Tagline and Nick Johnson covering the outfield. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Richie can play multiple positions. Nick can play multiple positions. So can Peyton. So there's a lot of flexibility in that lineup. Offensively, they're stacked right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, Redding might have took a big of a risk here. According to Craig's big board, Rocco was #10. And, I mean, you still have Zumas, Daly, Hilaire, Celia, and Siemens.
Oh, a pick is in. And
we got
the former Sultan of SWAT, Sultan's a SWAT team member, Mike Zumas, has been selected to the Monarchs, who have 2 back-to-back picks again here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Zumas goes to the Monarchs, going to step in right at first base and really play well. What do you guys think of that pick?
Yeah, I mean, Zumas, a lot of people call him the Greek Mitts, as do I. He's a heck of a player. I mean, look, in 2013, he had a solid 491. He was 2nd in the league in hits, 5th in the league in runs. 2014, he bumped his average up to 561. Dude's no joke. He can hit triples. He can hit doubles. He can hit home runs. All right. So that's a great pick. He was #5 on the big board. Okay. So he's not taking. So Krause isn't taking a risk. I mean, it's just a great pick. I think Zumas could have even gone earlier, to be honest.
Here's why I like this pick a lot. They're stacking up a bunch of average hitters around Kyle Lachlan.
Yeah.
Kyle Lachlan's going to hit them in. Last pick, I did not like the Frankenfield pick. But you know what? They took him there because they were worried the Tomahawks were going to take him with the next pick. So they come back and get Zumas, who was probably their original target. 2 picks later, and you got to love that value.
That's a good point. I'm looking at the big board now. We have #6 on our big board was Daly, 7 was Hilaire, 8 was Celia, 9 was Seaman. So those 4 guys are so
Monarchs again, right?
Monarchs. The Monarchs are up next again, right? Yeah. Monarchs have back-to-back hits.
I'm going to call Darren Seaman here to play a shortstop for them.
Yeah?
That's my prediction.
I don't know. This is a tough one for Krause, honestly. I mean, he might go dig deeper to number 11 on the big board. I think he might go with Wayne Cranko. Krause and Cranko, they kind of have a connection, similar age. I mean, Krause might move to first base. I don't know. I mean, it's just tough because they do have Zumas who also plays first base, but I think Cranko is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the FHSL. So I think I'm going to go on a limb here. I think Krause is going to go with Wayne Cranko.
And the Monarchs pick should be coming in shortly here. They need some defense, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
see, now with Zumas in the picture, again, where does Frankenfield play?
The pick is in, and the Monarchs with the number 7 pick have selected it's Mike Pickle Dally.
wow.
Oh, I forgot.
Mike Dally has been
Dally.
selected. He's coming back to the league after, I think, a 2-year hiatus. So
That's right.
welcome back to the league, Pickle. I hope
Yeah.
you're watching at home, just like
I doubt it, but
all our
it's
other
right.
Fountain Hill Stickball League fans.
Well, like I said, Mike's a guy. He's a vacuum, similar to Peyton Bates. He's a guy who can block the ball, field the ball, throw the ball. His big issue is hitting. Now, for them, could I see him hitting 6th or 7th, maybe 2nd? Sure, but he's not a guy who's going to shock you at the plate. He's a guy who does his job and does it pretty damn well. So that's just my take on Pickle.
Here's the thing about Michael Pickle Dally. He, for the past couple summers, he's only played stickball 1 day out of the year. So I think this pick has a huge upside. Once he gets playing every week, week after week, that hitter's going to come along. He's another average hitter to put right before Lachlan for more RBIs for the big stick Lachlan.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, Tomahawks are coming up here. Tomahawks have already made some really great picks.
yeah.
They picked up Peyton Bates. They picked up
DePaulo.
the 2 young guys. Who do you see him going with the number 8
You know,
pick?
this is a tough one for me. Now, Brian, if you're watching, I think we would have to go with Wayne Cranko here. And I know that's shocking, but look, I mean, Wayne Cranko is a guy.
Yeah, but doesn't Brian want to pitch?
You know what, Brian? Throw yourself at catcher because listen to these stats for Wayne Cranko, a 2012 All-League member, 2013 Gold Glove member. In 2014, he hit 485. He's not just defense.
Wow,
he's
look at
not
those
just pitching.
stats.
He's hitting too. So if you're thinking twice, don't think once and pick Wayne Cranko here.
Wow.
Here we go.
Pick is in. The Tomahawks have selected shortstop, third baseman, infielder Darren Seaman. Zach, you have experience with this player. Give us your take on this one.
He was a late bloomer to the league. The first year, he played defense. He didn't hit well. The past 2 years, he's gotten better and better at the plate, better and better in the field. I love this pick. You got your shortstop of the future, Tomahawks.
Wow.
Yeah, I know this is a tough one for me, but I know this kid can play the game, okay? I've seen him at shortstop. He's an athletic son of a gun. He can do a lot of things. He's a contact hitter. Now, we already have some power in our lineup, I believe. So, you know what? I like this pick. I think he's an athletic. I think we're kind of keeping to our mold as a young team. So I do like this
Yeah,
pick.
that's true.
I mean, with like any pick, it's going to have some risk. But in 2014, Seaman hit 394. So, I mean, that has to say something, right?
Yeah, I think that they have they're slowly accumulating a lot of talent here. While the Toon Squad has been sitting back
Sitting
Yeah.
back.
and letting all the other teams pick.
I mean, that's got to be scary.
The
for
Tomahawks have made that next step into the elite group of
Yeah.
teams, and maybe even they'll contend for a championship this year.
And that's the risk Josh was willing to take moving up to that first pick.
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, Toon Squad has the next pick, right?
The next 2, I believe.
They have the next 2.
Oh, and the 9th pick is in from the Toon Squad, and they select Patrick Hilaire,
Wow.
a utility player, former Kakumba's team member. Zach, what do you think of that pick?
That is very interesting. And here's the thing. The Toon Squad has all the defensive positionings down, except for third base, actually. So I like to pick a little less now that I just look at that. But Patrick Hilaire hits those doubles up at Fountain Hill,
Yeah.
which is only a couple of games there. So you know what?
That's a great
But
point.
he poked singles
Yeah.
at the park, too.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest issue with Pat Hilaire was last year he was a chemical member of mine, and he struggled, man. He was in a slump all season. But I have the best stat of the night for you guys that's sitting at home. 2012, Pat Hilaire was a Silver Slugger member. He hit 500, and he was tied for first in the whole entire league with Josh Knight, first in runs.
He's also a
Okay.
licensed pilot. If anybody out there is wondering, a little fun fact
I think
for
he
you,
still
all
has
you
mountains,
Fountain Hill Stickball League fans.
But heck, and he's kind of one-dimensional. He can only really play right field. But that said, he's a good player. He'll show up to games.
Yeah, but he plays well in that sand out there right at the
Now you look at the
park, too.
remaining
Whoa,
people.
I think I beg to differ there.
Wow.
Who's Toon Squad going to fill their third?
with that pick, they select Cy Young pitcher Wayne Cranko is now a member of the Toon Squad. What a pick! I mean, that's a great pick right there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Wayne's one heck of a player. I mean, I think I might have got a steal there. I really do. I mean, I'm shocked by that. I mean, because I think our team could have had it.
That's a great pick. I mean, they don't have another pitcher, do they?
They do not have a pitcher right
Brooks
now.
Brooks is gone from the league.
Brooks is gone.
No Brooks.
Ryan's on the Tomahawks. Eric Rao is not playing this year. They fill a pitcher need. They get an underrated hitter, in my opinion. The thing I'm seeing, I'm looking at the Toon Squad. They do not have a third baseman, and it's a little late for that. It's a little late for that in the draft, in my opinion.
This has been a great draft so far. I know it's a roller coaster out there. We're just trying to hang on. We're having a great time over here. I hope you're doing the same.
So let's look at the Tomahawks now.
Tomahawks have the
Tony
next
Steele
pick.
right now is the highest on our big board. Then Logan, Tommy DiPietro.
They got to go Logan here. He's the best hitter left available. I think they need that.
I don't know. This is tough right now.
I think they go Tony Logan.
He brings that veteran leadership that team does not have.
Absolutely.
He's been on the Cucumbers the past 3 years. Now they're the Tomahawks. So he has familiarity with some of the players.
They need that veteran leadership, don't
they do.
Think?
They're young.
I think that's a little overrated, in my opinion, veteran leadership. That doesn't mean much to me. I think
they might go Tony Celia because he's a former team member.
Go with Celia. I really do. I think Celia is one heck of a talent. I mean,
soccer player at King's University.
One of the few lefties. 2013, he hit 400 with 5 doubles. 2014, he hit 400. I mean, I think you got to go with Celia here. He's an athletic son of a gun. He can hit. I mean, he's a lefty. It's very few.
I think we can all agree on one thing. It's got to be one of the Tonys.
It's got to be one of the Tonys.
One of the Tonys. It's got to be Celia or Logan.
What if they go Tommy? Maybe they pair up the brothers.
Yeah, you know what? We better start looking down this draft board a little bit, folks. I mean, we got some players down here who I think could step up this year. I mean, Dave Schwartz is still on the board. Looks like the pick has come in. And with the 11th overall pick to the Tomahawks goes Tony Celia. Wow. What do you guys think? I mean, we knew it was one of them, right?
Yeah, like we said,
he went with the athlete.
He's a top-rated player on our big board at the moment. I mean, he's a good player. Like I said, he's a good player. He's athletic. He's a lefty. All those things in our favor. I mean, he's a good hitter. He's a respectable player, and I think a lot of players.
He's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of speed.
Yeah.
You put him in the leadoff position, and if he gets in a swing and starts hitting the ball well, I mean, you better watch out.
At the leadoff, you get a walk that you're on base, then you get Richie tag on. You got Peyton Bates, Nick Johnson coming behind that. He's scoring. You can bank on that.
I mean, I like the Tomahawks right now. I think they might come away with the best dang team in the league.
Hey, it's early right now. We got at least 14 other players to be picked.
Yeah.
So
with a lot of big names. Tommy DePaulo's on the board. Former Labutu Cup champion Jay Conklin's on the board.
Yep.
We got new league members, Billy Filer, Wyatt Jones, Bailey Hostler, Dave Schwartz, McCafferty, still on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all these guys are watching at home saying, why can't I be the next pick? And, I'm wondering the same about a lot of them, too. I think they're all pretty good players.
Let's look at this one. Right now, Tony Logan, number 1 on our big board here. He's a 2-time Gold Glover. 2013, he hit 320, excuse me. But he's a side note. He did have a 12.67 ERA. I'm not sure how much that'll affect the next, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we'll see. Tommy DePaulo, he's improving every year. He's a good hitter. He's a slap hitter. He can play second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not go there?
Toon Squad's up on the clock, correct?
Toon Squad is on the clock no longer. They've just taken Wyatt Jones with the number 12 pick. New league member. We've seen him play in the Classic. What do you guys have to say? Anything on Wyatt?
Well, look, I've seen him play a few times. He's never played in the league, but I do know he's got some strength. He's got some power. He can hit. I said, why don't you plug him at catcher? You plug him in right field. You put him 6th, maybe 7th in the lineup. Get a few dingers. You might have full prediction here. Hey, he has 5 dingers this year. Kicking it some power. Why not go Wyatt Jones? I like to pick by Josh Knight. Excuse me.
From what I've heard, I haven't seen the kid play all that much, but he does have some power at the plate. He doesn't offer much in the field. So the question still remains: who's playing third base for the Toon Squad?
Well, and that's a good question. Yeah, that's really a good question because you figure Alex is going to play short, right?
Or Alex plays.
What about Josh? What about Josh sliding over?
And maybe that's the master plan here. Josh is going to move over.
He loved playing third when he got the opportunity last year.
He did.
That's a great point.
He didn't really want to play first base under me, but
another question is
he's good at it.
Yeah, and another question is Zach Kirk. we've seen him play center, but I think he can play the infield.
The Monarchs have the next pick. I mean, look at this. These older guys are sliding. We're seeing a trend here, folks. Young guys are getting drafted earlier than these old heads. I mean, we're seeing a trend. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Tony Logan sliding. Patrick McCaffrey, Dave Schwaryer sliding.
Yeah.
You know, these are good players, good solid players. You know are going to be there every Tuesday night, and they're going to step in and they're going to play well for you. They're not superstars. They're role players. They've got veteran experience. I'm quite frankly, I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, let's look at it like this.
The Monarchs do have the next pick, though, so if anybody's bound to take a veteran, it's Andrew Krause.
So I think the Monarchs right now would have Locken at third, Frankenfield at actually Mike Daly at shortstop, Frankenfield maybe at first. You know, they have like all infield players right now. They even have Mike Zumas. I think they need to
drafted
fill
all in
a left field void because you figure they're going to have Andrew Redding in center.
Frankenfield moves out to left. Zumas plays first.
Yeah, okay.
I think the Monarchs.
So they have a lot of positions filled up right now. The Monarchs look pretty good to me. I think what they're really lacking is some more power and some good solid hitting.
Where do they find that?
And that's a good question. I mean, I'll take it back 4 years ago, okay, folks. Pat McCaffrey used to hit bombs, okay? So who's to say he doesn't find a stride in 2015 and has a few dingers, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, why not take Tony Logan?
Yeah,
I've seen
Tony
Tony
Logan
Logan in
too.
a scrimmage game hit 4 home runs. Go with Tony, Krause. I dare you.
I seen Tony hit with some
Tony, you know,
he's got to be the pick here. I mean, him and Krause have an all-field relationship.
They do.
They know each other well. It's got to be. It's got to be Tony.
I mean, if you're doubting Pat McCaffrey hitting a home run, in 2014 he did have 1 home run. I mean, he did hit 406.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, it's more than you. I mean, come on. So, I mean, I think.
Oh my goodness! And with the 13th pick, the Monarchs have selected Colin Dos Santos.
Wow.
The Monarchs take Dos Santos. You know, I heard Krause like them. I'm a little surprised with this pick. What say you?
Well, look, I mean, I'm really not that surprised. I mean, the only reason I'm surprised is because you would figure Krause would be a pitcher here. But I think they're going to throw DeSantis on the mound. DeSantis has been getting better every year. Listen to this. 2013, he hit a 129 in 14 games, okay? But he got so much better that in 2014, he hit 353 and was tied in 6th in the whole entire league in singles, Colin DeSantis. So he's getting much better every year, okay? So this is not that bad. I like this pick. I really do. I love this pick, actually, because I think DeSantis is getting better.
You have the most experience with him. You've been a captain for him in years
Like
past.
Nick just said, he's getting better and better. I love the pick, too. I think we see a trend coming here with the Monarchs. Nick just said 6th in singles. They're playing small ball this year and hoping Lachlan knocks them all in.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, guys. I really thought that, Tony Logan and then sliding right here. He's the best player on our big board right now. Tommy DePaulo's the next player, and Jay Coughlin's next. They're our next 3 guys on Craig's big board.
So, go ahead, Zach.
Here's another thing about Colin Dos Santos. He took to Twitter this week, and he feels disrespected by the league. Wow. This kid's going to come out on fire. He's going to show everybody what he's got.
Disrespected by the league, I think we give him enough credit, but I mean, he needs to step it up a little more.
I'm saying he feels disrespected.
Okay, all right.
I mean, so we're going to look at the Tomahawks have the next pick. I mean, where do you guys see them going at this point, honestly?
Well, they've been going young, but I don't know. I think I'm jinxing Logan and guys like Logan and Schwaryer. Maybe they go with maybe Kristen Gogola comes off the board here. Who knows? With the surprises we've been seeing.
Let's relax.
I mean, who knows?
I don't know. Right now, I think that Tommy DePaulo. DePaulo. Why not?
That would be my
for this pick. Yeah,
I think his original team was in the league.
Similar. And he's very similar to Colin in that 2013. He only hit 180. Okay, 180, folks, in 61 at bats, and he played in 15 to 16 games. But here's the but here. 2014, he improved his average to 382, and that was with the Cucumbers. I was on his team. Throw him there. Put him at second. He can turn 2. I've seen him do it. Pick him. Go ahead, Ready. Yeah, listen to me all night. So
go, Brian. And the Tomahawks, the new name Tomahawks, Brian Redding has selected Tommy DePaulo as his pick with the 14th selection in the 2015 Fountain Hill Stickball League Draft. More young guys coming off the board, pick by pick.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. The Cucumbers have been young for their 4-year franchise, and they're continuing the mold, captain or not. Cucumbers, Tomahawks, whatever. I guess it's just something in our genes But hey, I mean, does that prove that we can't win a championship? So far, we've never won a championship.
Zach, do you think that Joey Martin, the former Cucumbers captain, might be in Brian Redding's ear, giving him some front office advice, maybe say unofficial GM? I think Joey Martin and Brian Redding might be in cahoots here. They're helping each other out.
I think we're seeing a lot of the previous drafts.
Yeah.
It's all young, and what has it done to the Cucumbers? They've acquired a lot of skill throughout the years, but they haven't done anything with it.
That's right.
So I love this pick personally, but I'm questioning the picks of all young.
Well, the X
I
factor.
agree with Zach there.
Well, I think I don't listen to anything you just said, because the difference is you have a new captain now. So who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, he drafted young, but you just admitted we do have the talent. Okay.
Yeah.
So where's it been the past 2 years?
Well, I'm not saying it was the captain.
Yeah,
but
what's
maybe
going
it was
on?
the captain.
I mean, you're a leader of that team. You tell us what's been going on with the Cucumbers. Was it Joey Martin's fault? Is that what you're saying? You're saying Brian Redding's going to step in and be a better team leader than Joey Martin was?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
I think Brian Redding's going to show up to more games, and I think he's going to have more heart.
Wow.
And I'm not disrespecting Joe. I'm just saying I think Brian Redding will show up to more games and have more heart. I'm not saying Joey's not a talent. He's one of the best players in the league. I'm just giving you my opinion. Okay? So will that make a difference? Yes.
And the Toon Squad pick has just come in with the number 15 pick in this year's draft. Former Toon Squad member Jake Conklin goes back to the Toon Squad. A great hitter. I think he was all league the first year from Salisbury Township. This kid's a good player. What do you guys think?
Yeah, look, in 2012, Jake Conklin was an all-league catcher, okay? And not many players have that tag next to their name as an all-league guy. 2013, he had 370. 2014, he had 333. So the guy hits pretty well. Catcher, he catches the ball. That's what you got to do. You got to tag guys and catch it, and that's what he does. I think they solidified a pretty good catcher right there.
What do you think, Zach?
I like it. I like Jake. Jake is an awesome hitter. Singles, doubles maybe, but singles, you got big hitters throughout that lineup that'll hit him home.
Yeah,
He stays with the Toon Squad where he belongs. I love it.
You drafted him in years past. You've let him go. Last year you didn't keep him. You kept some other guys.
He was a keeper last
Oh, he was a keeper.
last
Okay,
year.
I thought he wasn't. But
I like
either
him
way,
before,
you're
yeah.
a big fan of Jake Conklin.
I've had him all 3 years. He shows up to almost every game.
Yeah.
You know you can count on him, which is big in this league. Attendance is an issue.
Yeah.
So you get a guy who's going to show up, can hit for average on this team.
And Conklin's another leader. He just
Yeah,
shows up
that's a
and
good
plays the
point.
game.
Yeah.
He's a leader.
He doesn't
really
talk
is.
a whole lot.
Yeah.
He just shows up and plays the game.
Nope.
Has a great time. He's a great league member. I love having him in the league. Former neighbor of mine up there in Salisbury. But with the next pick, we got the Monarchs coming up. What do you guys think? Who's still Tony Logan? Still
Here we
left
go.
on
Here we
the
go,
board?
folks. I'm going to guarantee. I'm just kidding. I was going to say they're going to go with Tony Logan, but heck, they already have 2 pitchers with Krause and Coleman to stand up. So all right, here we go. I'm going to guarantee Dave Schroyer gets taken off the board here.
Okay.
Dave Schroyer, here's a crazy stat. He has perfect attendance in 3 years of being in the FHSL, okay? He showed up to every game, hasn't looked behind him, and he just came and played the game, and he plays it pretty decent, to be honest.
Wow, that's amazing. What do you think about that stat, Zach?
That is just, it's a beautiful stat.
Yeah.
We all know the Toon Squad have struggled with attendance in prior years. And if I could have perfect attendance for every player for every year, it would have been amazing.
So I think Cross has got to go with Dave Schroyer here. I mean, he's already proven that he doesn't want Tony Logan, which is, you could say it's a slap in the face to Tony, but
Yeah, I mean,
they do already have 2
they're probably
pitchers.
watching this together thinking, gosh, I hope he takes me next.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Dave Schroyer, I mean, right now he's the 4th best guy on our big board. I mean, he's, like I said, he's perfect attendance. He hits 250 plus usually. I mean,
He's a solid player.
He's a
I mean,
solid guy.
he used to
He's
have the
solid.
best beard in the league. All right. With the number 16 pick, Dave Schroyer finally comes off the board and goes to Andrew Krause's Monarchs. These guys, like we said earlier, we thought he'd be taken earlier, but Andrew Krause waits and decides to wait and gets him later than expected. Zach, what do you think about that strategy by Krause?
Sometimes as a captain in the league with all of your friends,
Right.
you gotta do some things you may not want to do to try to get better. I think this is that. Krause took some players he thought was better than Schroyer a little bit earlier, but still got them. Good story.
yeah, and that's the best point. He took some guys that he thought were better, okay? Dave was still on the board. He snuck back and got Dave, who, like we've been saying, shows up to games and plays the games well.
Right.
So why not take Dave Schwarber there? Obviously, he proved he doesn't want Tony. Okay, he has 2 pitchers on his roster. So, you know,
I gotta know. I gotta see what you guys think. Who you think the Tomahawks are going with here? Tony Logan still on the board. Patrick McCaffrey still on the board. Billy Filer, a former Fountain Hill Republican on the Little League team. He was a pretty good player back in the days. I think he's an athlete. We haven't seen him on the stickball field in probably a decade. But, I mean, who do you guys think he's going with here?
right now, I like Billy Filer.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm throwing all my chips in one bag here. I think it's a risk, but I think Billy Filer, he has an athletic background. He's played baseball. You know, I heard he's a bodybuilder. So I think maybe if that translates, I don't know. But I guess he has some strength. Maybe he can crank a few dingers for the Tomahawks.
It is a risk. It's a risk I'm not personally willing to take at this point. Now, if Brian Smart, he's on the phone talking to some of his younger players, getting a scoop with some of these new players that we don't have any idea who are.
It's a good point.
If you look back at the original draft, I got Brad Vangelli. Nobody knew who he was.
Right.
He was a great player for us. I only got him so late because nobody knew who he is. Brian should be looking to do the same thing right here with some of these new players.
It should be interesting. And the pick is in. The Tomahawk select the man we like to call Agent 63, Luke Amir Bey. Wow. He's been a clutch hitter in leagues past, not just last year, but years prior. He always seems to come up with that hit when you least expect it. RBIs, clutch all the time.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it better. And here's my biggest issue with Luke Amir Bey. He's played on the Sultans. I believe he's played on the Toon Squad. Is that correct? He doesn't get enough chances on the field. And that's my biggest issue. This guy, 2013, he hit 348, but he only batted 23 times, which was the 6th lowest in the entire league. So he's not getting enough chances. And that's just my opinion. I think he's a decent player.
Zach, don't you think he was a little disrespected on Craig's big board? I mean, I don't know who Craig is, but he has.
Who is this Craig?
I don't know. I'm not at liberty to discuss Craig. But number 23, and he had Luke Amir Bey all the way down there. I see him ahead of some of these other guys. I'm quite frankly surprised by Craig. Maybe we need a new scout.
Well, whatever, who the heck Craig is, it doesn't really matter. Brian Redding right there made a great move for the Tomahawks, getting Luke Amir Bey. We're all talking about all these other guys, Filer, Logan. But that's not a bad pick, and I still think Tony Logan's kind of getting disrespected here. I think he's going to be drafted next. I think he is. I don't even care who's drafted. I think Tony Logan will go next.
So the Toon Squad's up next. I mean, still some good players out here.
They do have a pitcher, so you know what? Scratch that out. We never seen Tony play anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I've never seen Tony.
So I don't think Josh Knipe's going with Logan.
That might be to Tony's, now that the league only has 3 teams, it kind of hurts Tony's value a little bit because he is a pitcher.
Yeah.
Don't you guys agree with that?
Are we still having an EH?
Extra hitter, too, this year. That's a great point.
Slide in there and play that.
And this is the first year that Tony has ever been in the draft, I believe, besides 2012.
Wow.
He's been kept by Martin the past 2 years.
That's right.
So this might be a double slap in the face for this kid now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a member. He's just like, Schwarber. He goes to almost every game.
Yep.
He's always there. He's always on that mound, giving his best efforts. Now,
yeah. So, I mean, right now, there it is.
The biggest end. Wow. With the 18th overall selection in the 2015 Fountain Hill Stickball League draft, the Toon Squad have selected Kristen Gligor, the first female stickball player in league history. I'm going to shoot it all on over to Big Brother Zach. I know it's a proud moment for you, Zach.
It is a proud moment. That's my little sister going to my Toon Squad, being captained by Josh on the same team as our roommate Alex. It's a pick that needed to happen. It's a pick that I'm going to just say the Toon Squad or the championship staying on green court.
I got to say something here. All hats off to Kristen. Kristen, thank you so much for signing up. You're making history here. But I'm going to be a little bit of a downer here, guys. For Josh Knipe to take Kristen Gligor over a guy like Tony Logan, who's still on the board, I got to shake my head at that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Kristen's going to be a good stickball player, but Tony Logan has been there and done that. Nick, what do you think about that?
Wow, I'm kind of mad you cut me off because I got a lot of things to say here. First of all, that's a complete disrespect move by Josh Knipe. He thinks his team is that good.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not disrespecting Kristen. I know she's a good player. I've seen her play in the Classic. But you got guys that have experienced Tony Logan, Pat McCaffrey, even Billy Filer. Okay, right there. And right now on his roster, I think I see 3 catchers. Okay. Jay Conklin, I've never seen him play anywhere but catcher. I think Wyatt's a catcher. So you have 3 catchers on your roster. What are you going to do there? Now, look, we've all said Josh can play. We know he has talent. We know he's one of the best players in the league. can he captain? Can he coach? I don't know right now because I'm looking at his roster and I'm puzzled.
Yeah, I mean, he got his brother. He did what he wanted to do, but I mean, what do you think, Zach?
If you're looking at this, it's that third base, first base, wherever Josh decides to play, it's leaving the other position open. And that's the thing that we could count on every game for the past couple of years. We had left center, short, third, and first covered, and I think that helped us tremendously. We had defense solved for the past 3 years, and now he's left the position open.
Yeah, and we had 8 players left on our big board. Okay, and Kristen was last. So he just kind of disrespected those 8 players. And granted, don't really know much about
Here's the thing about Josh.
Josh.
Josh is going to disrespect the league all year.
He's like the Chip Kelly of stickball. He's like the Chip Kelly of stickball, folks.
And his brother Justin was Marcus Mariota. And
he got his
for
guy.
you Eagles fans, maybe that's good for you.
Hashtag do the deal. I mean, come on.
Don't go there, please.
We got Patrick McCaffrey, who's right now the highest rated player. This guy, Bailey Hostler, I've been hearing a lot about him. I think he played every year so far in the Classic, and he's an athlete. I don't know a lot about him personally, but I do think I remember seeing him playing in the Classic. So he's a guy to watch here. Also, Darius Seaman.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a little guy who's
got
been
the
on
jeans,
the Mini Hillers team for all these years.
I've seen him swing a bat. He knows how to swing it, right? That's something good. So
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be a bad pick there. But I'm looking at Logan. I don't care if you have 2 pitchers. Please go with Tony Logan here, or even Patrick McCaffrey.
All right, at number 19, Monarch select Bailey Hostler. Wow.
Okay, well, let's look at this. I mean, according to our insider Peyton Bates, accordingly, Bailey Hostler has some athletic genes. He's a decent player. And if you're athletic, usually that correlates pretty well to the stickball field. Am I correct?
Yeah, I got to agree with you there.
If this kid's as athletic as people are saying, for him to be picked at 20, I think it's a high upside, low risk.
Yep, I agree.
Low risk.
It's a good. I think it could end up being the best value pick of the entire draft.
Well, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, right now, he could have gone with proven talent, Logan McCaffrey, but we'll see how it pans out. Like you said about Mangelli, you never know till you try.
I'm going to give you a rundown of some of these other guys left on the board. We talked about Darius, we talked about Bailey, we talked about Billy Filer, Patrick McCaffrey, Jared Albert. He's another guy from Salisbury Township, friend of mine. I think he might actually surprise some people too. He has an athletic background. I mean, I don't think he's going to wow the league or anything, but he could be just like Jay Conklin was that first year. Step in, knows how to play a game, not necessarily stickball, but he's been on an athletic field before, and I think he could surprise some people. Sean Bush and A.J. Cocker I'm not as familiar with, but I think that, they signed up for the league. They obviously got a love for stickball, so we'll see them out a lot this year.
Right now we only have 2 returning players left on the board, and that would be Logan and McCaffrey. And I think those are the 2 best prospects right now on the board. Okay, because we've seen them play, we have some stats on them. Does that mean they're the best players on the board? No, but I think it gives you a little bit of graph. It gives you, it makes you feel good when you pick because you know what you're getting, rather than throwing all your eggs in one basket and taking a risk, right?
I gotta agree with you. Number 20 pick of this year's draft has come in, and the Tomahawks have selected new league member A.J. Cocker. Like we were just talking about, I don't know too much about this guy. I think I don't know what to say about him, really. I hope he gives us a write-in. I asked our young scout, Peyton Bates. He didn't know much about the guy either. I'm hoping he comes in. I'm hoping he plays well because these are picks that could surprise. We don't know these guys,
Yeah, look,
There's 2 guys we don't know.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I didn't do my film on this kid, so I don't really know much about him. But I heard he's decent. From what I know, but that's about it. That's all I can really say.
This is a Liberty High School kid currently?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Hey, these are picks you're trying to fill out at the bottom of your roster.
Right.
But these are the picks that they're going to show up. They're going to play every day. Mm-hmm. These are the picks that make the difference between second, third, and first place.
He's probably sitting in his living room now with his whole family surrounded by him, and they just went nuts. This kid's dream has come true. He's a member of the Fountain Hill Stickball League.
Well, I think the biggest issue isn't who Tomahawks picked, but who wasn't picked. And that's some good players in Logan and McCaffrey who are still slipping on the board.
Yeah,
I think these captains are telling us something about those 2.
Yeah, I guess.
Does Tony Logan does he have a torn ACL that I don't know about?
Did Tony Logan and Brian running butt heads last year in Cucumbas? I was on the team. I didn't see it. I don't know. So I really don't know.
Toon Squad have a pick coming up here.
If I was them, I'd go with Filer right now. Honestly.
I see. I'm
Darius.
taking.
Darius.
They have three catchers.
They gotta go Logan. They gotta go Logan.
They have three catchers and a pitcher, and I think that's really the only places I see Logan playing.
But
filler, like I
DH. Zach had said it earlier. Extra hitter. He's a great hitter. I mean, this is appalling. That
what stats do you have to back that up?
I know the
Tell
game.
us,
I've
Nick.
seen
Tell
him.
us.
Yeah, you tell us.
Tell
Nick.
us, Nick.
Why is he slipping?
Well, in 2013, Logan hit 320. Like I said, he's a two-time Gold Glover, but they already have Franco, who I think might be the better fielder. So that's why I say ignore Logan here. Go with Filer.
What do you think about this? What about first time ever rotation?
Oh, come on.
If that's what Josh wants to do, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Keep hitters off balance a little bit. I do not think Josh is going to take Billy Filer. He's too much of a flyer for me.
Okay.
We haven't seen this kid play in how long?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you.
You know what?
I don't trust it, and I could be proven wrong, and I'll say it, but I don't trust it.
Well, I don't trust a lot of things. Don't mean I don't try it, right? Sometimes you just take a risk here. You got three pitchers. You got three catchers and a pitcher right now.
See, if I was one of these guys, I would take a guy I know versus a guy I don't know.
We'll take that to the Tomahawks and AJ Cocker and tell that to the Monarchs, the Bailey Hostler, because that's what they just did.
I know. We got another pick in here, and finally off the board is Pat McCaffrey to the Toon Squad. Pat, he's another pretty decent player, shows up to the game. He's all about the league.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this pick? Zach, what do you think?
Like I said, it's bottom of the roster now. So what you were just saying, he is a proven player in this league. He's played. He'll show up. Let's see how it goes.
I think he's better than a number 20, 21 player in this draft board. I got to think.
It's just like such a puddle down there at the end, so I really can't say that. But in 2013, Pat McCaffrey hit 158.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's stirring in the back of some people's mind. But in 2014, he did hit 406 with a homer.
So I like it.
So he's getting better. Yeah, I like it too. But let's look at this, okay?
I love the pick.
The last four picks by the Toon Squad: Wyatt Jones, who I see as a catcher; Jake Conklin, who I see as a catcher; Kristen Gola, who I see as a catcher; Pat McCaffrey, who I see as a pitcher or a catcher. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I can't disagree with you.
No, you
there.
can't. So who is playing third for them? Like you've been saying, you got Knight. Maybe Knight's playing third, and who's playing first?
Yeah. Well, the Monarchs pick is coming up one way or the other. The Monarchs are on the clock, and I guess we're running through this every couple minutes. We're running through this every couple minutes.
It's Logan or Filer?
When is Tony Logan coming off the board? And I'm just over here scratching my head just like he is because he's a better player than
It's Logan or Filer here. You can put it on paper, and then you can mail it to yourself because that's who it's going to be here.
Kraus, take Darius.
You know, I don't know. I'm a little worried
Darius
about
Seaman.
if Kraus doesn't take Logan here. I'm a little worried that there's a personal vendetta against Tony.
Let's not start rumors.
I'm just
here.
saying. I mean, why not? The kid's a good hitter. He's going to show up and play.
There's 5 players left. Logan's way up there on our big board. Then you got Filer, Seaman, Albert, and Sean Bush.
Yeah, I would love to have Tony as an EH. We've been saying it all night. The Monarchs need offense, and Tony can provide some of that. Better than anybody else here on this board.
I mean, let's look at it. Like I think I've said this multiple times. 2013, he hit 320. Okay, that's not terrible. He's a 2-time Gold Glover, but that's playing pitcher. He's not going to get a Gold Glove playing short, right?
Now, is Kraus going to take himself out to let Tony pitch?
Well,
No.
no.
One of them's going to EH. One of them's
But
going to
if you're
EH.
playing
but
pitcher, you can play catcher, right?
Well, Kraus has been a pretty good hitter in the past.
Kraus batted .536 in 2013.
He did have a little
Second
bit
in
of
the
a
league.
slump this year, this past year, but maybe he'll return to his 2013 form.
I don't know. I just see Tony Logan going off the board here. I mean, unless, like you said, unless they're butting heads or there's a personal vendetta, I just
It's got to be the only reason he doesn't go here.
I agree.
Pick is in.
Here we go.
And with number 22 pick by the Monarchs, Andrew Kraus has selected finally Tony Logan.
There it is.
Tony Logan, now the newest member of the Monarchs. I think we all saw that one coming finally. I think he's going to help the team. I think he's going to help the team. I really do.
I mean, I think we've said all we need to say about the guy. I think let's just move on. Who's going to going to go next? I mean, we named the stats.
I can't.
All right,
Again.
Let's talk about how he fits into this team then. You look at this lineup. There's some underrated hitters in this lineup. In my
And who
opinion.
would that be?
Yeah, let's talk about
Because
that.
I don't see it.
Tony Logan's going to be underrated. Mike Dowley's going to get better all year long. Mark my words. Joe Santos is underrated. Zumas, Frankenfield, Kraus, Pekovic, Andrew Redding. There's not power, but they're going to get on base. And you keep putting runners on base. You keep putting the ball on the ground. That's the most important part.
I got to say, I don't see it. I think the Cucumbers have made a huge jump forward with this draft. And the Tomahawks have made a huge jump forward. The Toon Squad is still going to be a good team. They're in contention. I don't see it with the Monarchs. I just don't.
Okay, well, let's look at the Monarchs right now. I think their first 4 picks, even the first 5, were pretty good. But they only have one in Kyle Lachlan, who I can see that can really hit the ball. Frankenfield, a slap hitter. Zumas, we can see hit, but he's not really a home run guy. Mike Daly.
Maybe Power's overrated this year, being that a lot of the games are going to be at the park.
But it's not just about power. It's about hard line drive, solid hits that hit the gap. And we've seen through these averages that it doesn't happen with some of these guys except for Lachlan. And we've seen it. We've proven their stats to support that. We're not throwing hunches out there. We're not making educated guesses. I mean, that's the biggest difference to me. Now, right now, you look at the Tomahawks, and I think they did a pretty good job, okay? They have their whole infield solidified. They had their 2 keepers, their center fielder and Richie Tagline, their left fielder and me, their Peyton Bates at third base, Darren Seaman at short, Rocco at first, Celia and right, DePaulo, Tommy at second base, Amir Bag at catcher, Redding on the mound.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, like Zach said, I think that Power is going to be really overrated this year. It's a little new format. The first 3 or 4 weeks, I think, are all at Holy Child. The rest of the games are basically going to be doubleheaders Tuesday nights down at the park, so there's not going to be as many home runs this year.
I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but to me it seemed like there were less home runs last year than the year before. I don't know what you guys think about that.
You got to pick in here, and the Tomahawks have selected Darius Seaman, younger brother of Darren Seaman. Sorry about that. So the Seaman brothers joined the Tomahawks. He's been a pitcher for the classic team with all the other guys, Dos Santos, DePaulo's, all them. I think he could be, he's young. I think he's 14 years old, but he could be a future star of this league for all we know. This could be a day in history.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know there's 4 guys left. I don't like the pick. I mean, I want to go with the risk when you're down this low. And like I've been saying, I think Billy Filer will show up to game, and I think he'll crank a few homers. I really
think that's a risky saying right there.
Well, why not take a risk now?
What home runs is he going to be hitting at the park? He's not going to hit it to the softball field.
That's a good point. But look, I don't like going safe when you're down this low. Take a risk, do something different, You
yourself just said you want slap hitters. Darius Seaman's going to be hitting slaps. He's not strong enough to hit out to left field.
Slaps to the second baseman when they pop up.
Maybe he hits the pavilion.
I don't know.
I love the pick. I don't know if you're going to do any better at this point.
I don't really think you can love the pick this low, but I'm just
Zach, you've actually swayed me a little bit. I was a little sour on the Monarchs just a couple minutes ago, but I think they might have a decent team when you look at it. They do have a shortstop and a third baseman. They do have a pretty nice outfield. Yeah. They got some decent hitters. Maybe this year there's more parity than ever. Maybe there's a fight to the finish to see who goes and chases after that Labuda Cup. I mean, you'll have to wait and see. It'll be Tuesday nights this summer. But first game's May 19th, by the way. So I look forward to seeing everybody there. Now with the next pick, Toon Squad up. We got the pick. Give me a minute here. And Billy Filer has been selected to the Toon Squad. Again, I'll say it again, a former Fountain Hill Republican member. He was a pitcher, if I believe, back in the day, but I think he was an athlete, wrestled in high school. I think this could be a great pick, just like Nick said.
Well, look, where's he going to play? I'm not sure. What's he going to do? I'm not sure. But like I said, there's risk, but there could be really high reward in this kid. I think he might be an athlete. I think if I had to guess, he is an athlete, which can translate well on the field. So who knows? Maybe Knight made his best pick in the last few picks. Maybe he did. I'm not sure.
So we got 2 guys left, Jared Albert and Sean Bush. Very different players. Jared Albert's an older guy, I think 26, 27. Sean Bush, I believe, is a young talent. So 2 different ways. If anything goes as this whole draft is gone, we're probably going to see Sean Bush come off the board here just because it's been a trend of such young talent.
Yeah,
here we go. Jared Albert has gone number 25 to the Bethlehem Monarchs.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. We got 2 picks in at once here. Bush has gone to the Monarchs at 25. Wow. Sorry, Jared. I kind of hope you're not watching because that must have been painful. So
Bush to Monarchs.
So Bush went to the Monarchs. So therefore, by default, the Jared has gone to the Tomahawks with the last overall pick. So congratulations to both of those guys, Bush and Albert, the last 2 picks in the draft. And, new league members, we wish you guys luck, and we thank you for signing up this year. So I guess now that the draft is all said and done, it's time for a little analysis. We got 5 minutes here to close out the show. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's been a blast.
Been a treat.
Zach, I'm going to shoot it over to you first. After this draft, now these teams are kind of set. Who do you see coming away this summer with that Labuda Cup?
As much as I hate to say it, I do have to go with the Tomahawks.
Wow.
For the Toon Squad, Josh, you better hope Justin is worth it. I think he cost you 1 position in the field. So the Tomahawks have the best defense, probably the most powerful offensive lineup in the league. I just have to go Tomahawks right now.
Wow. So basically, So they lost that trade at the end.
In my opinion, they did, yes.
Okay.
Well, this is tough. When you actually have it on paper and you look at it, they all seem kind of similar. And I would also go with the Tomahawks. But if I had to say second best, I'd go with the Monarchs. Okay. So look, like Zach's been saying all day, not all games are going to be played at Holy Child.
Right.
In fact, the majority are actually going to be played at the park. And they have, despite what I've been saying about power, they do have a lot of slap hitters. Frankenfield, Zumas, Daly, Dos Santos, Schroyer, Tony Logan, who I think could, kind of a steal at the end there. And these guys are defensive oriented, but that really doesn't matter on offense when you're playing at the park.
See, I agree with you to a point, but I think that the 2 best teams at the end of the day, they're neck and neck. I think the Tomahawks and the Toon Squad came away today looking like the best teams on paper. But at the end of the day, I got to go with the Toon Squad. Why? For a couple reasons. Experience. They got a bunch of guys with 2 rings. Number 2, they got the best keepers in the draft. I know this isn't a night to talk about keepers. This is a night for the draft, but I'm going to take a minute here and talk about him. Alex Specht, 2014 MVP. Best player in the league. And yes, I'm sitting to the second best player right here, Nick Johnson.
Sorry, folks.
Zach Kirk, probably the best center fielder in the league, catches everything, a lefty bat, can play. Josh Knight, the best hitter in the league, besides Specht and maybe Nick. But he's up there. He's up there top 3. Now they got Justin Knight. That's 4 solid guys that you're scared of day in and day out. You don't want to face that line.
Okay, now I think he's talking through his butt, giving a little monologue here. So look, yeah, you made some great points, but I just don't see that happening. I really don't. I just think the Tomahawks, in terms of the best draft right now, was the Tomahawks and the Monarchs. And do I think the Toon Squad may have the second best team? Yes. So it's Tomahawks versus Toon Squad, and the Tomahawks taking down the 2015 Labuda.
Well, you know what? We're all going to have to wait and see. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to hit on a couple key dates coming up here. This Wednesday, I don't have the date in front of me. This Wednesday, we have a meeting to finalize the schedule. So that should be published probably Thursday for all your fans and the teams out there who want to mark their calendars. After that, we might – who knows? Let us know how this went, folks. We might have another one of these.
Weekly.
Maybe, I don't know about weekly, maybe a season preview coming up here. First game, I believe, is May 19th, 5:45, Holy Child parking lot. If you miss it, you're going to regret it, folks.
We'd love to get some guests on the show.
Thanks for my –
Tweet us, DM us.
Yes.
Send us a tweet.
Thanks for my guest analysts here, Nick Johnson, Zach Lowe. Great job, guys.
Absolutely.
Our producers in the background, our tech guys, Andrew Redding, Hank Warner. Great job, folks. All the captains and players, good luck this season. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Be safe.